Welcome back to my channel. I am super excited about the educational video I'm doing for you today, where I'm going to take you through the entire process of customizing a luxury human hair wig. I want to thank New Times Hair for providing me with the original blank blonde base that this beauty became. I also want to thank DB Hair Therapy for doing this incredible color. And I want to thank SE Wigs for doing some thinning and thinning out of the wig because it is a hand-tied cap. I have so much to share. So as always, if you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe to my channel, hit that bell, give me a thumbs up, and let's get started with this amazing wig that I have named Stardust. First, I want to get into the specs of this cap and the color customization that was done. I think a lot of women are not really understanding how wigs are colored. So most wigs start out as Chinese or Indian hair. They can be defined texturally as Mongolian or Brazilian or European, but really 99% of it is Chinese or Indian hair. That hair started out dark. So we can go anywhere from a super dark black to a close to a medium brown, a dark to medium brown, but you're not going to get hair any lighter than that. So then how do you get a beautiful, amazing lavender? Well, you have to start with a blank blonde base. And a blank blonde base started out as dark hair. So one thing you have to think about is that this wig is heavily processed. It has been bleached not once, not twice, but many times over to take it from a dark brown to a bleached blonde. Then we had color applied on top of the blonde. So what I can tell you about the quality of this hair from New Times Hair Official is that it is really high quality hair. Not only did color take amazingly well on this hair, but after all the processing it's had, it does not dry with the frizz, it does not tangle, and it has been washed multiple times for color processing and had color added. This is some quality hair. Now, as I teach you about how I had this wig customized, I want to show you what it looked like before anything was done to it. So get ready to see the original wig sent to me by New Times Hair called Heather. This is where my New Times Hair started. This is the same wig before any customization was done. This is Heather, and I picked color 22, which is basically a blank blonde canvas. So if we look at Heather, this is air dried. And I have to say, this hair air dried incredibly beautifully, considering that this was probably a dark brown to black that has been bleached many times. This is quality hair. There is no frizz, just a very slight wave. And you'll notice that the hairline is pretty dense. But this is an incredible wig to start the process of the incredible beauty you saw in the intro. I'm going to take you through the entire process of how I went from this to Lavender Dreams. I'm sure that was an eye-opener for you. You were probably like, how on earth did you go from that to this? Well, I always say it takes a village. I want to point out that New Times Hair does not sell to individuals. They sell to salons and vendors and brands. So you cannot get a New Times Hair wig directly from New Times Hair. But I do want to let you know that that is not a reason not to watch the video, because there is a ton of jam-packed education in here that can apply to anybody who wears wigs. But if you are a salon owner, or if you are somebody thinking about starting a wig brand to customize wigs, this is some really great hair. I want to talk to you about the hand-tied cap, and there's a lot of things that I want to teach about hand-tied caps. First off, this wig fits me perfectly. The measurements are spot on for a petite to average size. I also want to say it has got to be the most comfortable cap I have ever worn in a human hair wig, because it is fully hand-tied. Fully hand-tied caps are incredibly comfortable, but they also have more return hairs. And if you don't know what a return hair is, when you sew each hair into the cap, there's a return hair about that long on the other side to keep the hair in the wig. If it's fully hand tied, you're going to get a lot more poofiness and a lot more return hair going throughout the wig, as opposed to a wefted cap where the hand tied portion is only on the top of the wig. I have some amazing educational footage that was done with Essie Wigs, Shayna at Essie Wigs in Baltimore, and she is going to teach you about hand-tied caps and how to actually make them look less poofy. Poofiness is not something that bothers everybody. For me, I have a very narrow, small face, and I really don't like a lot of volume at the top with my wigs. If you don't mind volume at the top, then I would say you don't have to do the process of getting the return hairs texturized like I did, but I think it's, again, incredibly educational. But before we get into Shayna, I want to get into this color. This is probably my favorite fashion color that I have put on my head in human hair. This was custom colored by DB Hair Therapy Danielle. She did an unbelievable job with this color. This color is a multi-dimensional, ethereal, lavender, purple, magenta mix. There's hints of pink, there's hints of light, cool lavender, and hints of brighter purple. And then she did this expert rooting in a light brown base to make it look natural because nobody has lavender hair. So if you have a rooted piece, it looks like you just got your hair colored and it's growing out a bit, which is kind of the fashion trend anywhere is to wear roots. I want to just take a minute to appreciate this incredible color. Let's look at it. Look at all the dimension. Look at all the beautiful colors in this wig. Absolutely stunning. I want to point out over here just a few images of her getting customized by Danielle and the process she went through with multiple color applications and multiple colors. So she said she used 3 colors in this wig, and you can definitely see the different colors. See, this is more of a bright pop of purple. This is your more lavender, icy lavender. And then you have these hints of a purplish pink. It is incredible. It's incredible. Now, I did not have the hairline further customized after it was colored. And I want to go in on the hairline. Now, this hairline is a little denser than I would normally like. I like a plucked hairline, but it still looks very natural anyway, especially if wearing it down. I may eventually get her hairline plucked, but I think she looks pretty amazing whether she has the hairline plucked or not. I'm just kind of doing nitty gritty nitpicking because I'm super uber duper picky. So normally I would like a little more plucking on the hairline, but I think she looks pretty incredible. All right, so let's go into the color outside and look at the masterpiece that Danielle at DB Hair Therapy completed with this wig. And she did say that the hair took color exceptionally well. I can say that after multiple applications of color and multiple washes, she does not tangle. And then we're going to talk about the cap. And then we're going to get into that educational footage of how we texturized return hairs to make the wig less poofy. Got a lot of jam-packed stuff in here for you today. Look how gorgeous. You can see the pink more when I'm in front of my slider. It's a purplish pink. And you see that root, which makes it look super natural, little pops of deeper purple, and then that icy lavender. She's literally like iridescent. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Oh my goodness. I love this color. Couple things to note about Heather. I did put scar tape and powder on the part line, which I always do with wigs that I wear. This was hand painted from a blonde base, so there's always going to be a little bit of color that gets on the cap. That's normal. This is a full lace front, very soft velvet, like a a velvety ear tab with metal stays, fully hand-tied cap with silicone strips, and a soft felt nape with Velcro adjusters. Now, fully hand-tied, it is so comfortable to wear. The most comfortable human hair wig that I have. The biggest issue I have with hand-tied caps is their poof effect. And that's why we're going to go into some education on how we texturize the return hairs. And please note, we did not cut them off. You never ever want to cut them off. Look at this. I just need to show you again. See the deeper purple there? And then the icy lavender and the hints of magenta. This is a work of art, y'all. And if you want to get your wigs custom colored, Danielle takes mail-ins. You can mail her your wig and have her do color for you. Look at this. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous.
So I took a section of hair and we're combing this, going down, and that kind of helps these returns fall down, fall through. You see this? Exactly, yep. So this is normal for the lace, and this is how every single lace is. But what we have here is that it goes, because this is all hand tied, this kind of returns go all the way down. So we're going to texturize this with texturizing shears. Right here. Just wet this all just a tiny little bit, and we're going to go section by section and blowing all the hair down. That will also help it become flat.
I'm going to hold my cap in place for her because she needs a lot of tension, and the cap is going to come like. She's also doing some custom cutting with some more layers and face framing. Customization is so key to making wigs look amazing, and really cutting the wigs directly on the head, on the person's head, is the best way to go about it. So it's always good to have your cuts done on your own head in a salon like I am here with Shayna. And of course, getting your hair styled. I mean, many women send away their wigs to get washed and styled, but they have to pay for that. You can always, of course, style your own wigs once you get your wig. But in the salon, when you're first getting fitted for your wig, they can style it right on your head after your custom cut, just like Shayna's doing.
You know how they say a picture is worth 1,000 words? Well, this picture is worth more than 1,000. Look at this transformation. I renamed Heather Stardust for her incredible, ethereal, lavender and purple beauty. What do you think of her new name?
So to sum up, when you want a very special customized piece, if you want to go with fashion colors or reds, you generally want to start with a blank blonde canvas, and then you want to get an expert colorist like Danielle at DB Hair Therapy to customize your piece into the dream hair that you want. Now, this is referring to getting a flawless hairline and getting really vibrant colors. That does not mean you always have to go with a blank blonde base. If you're a brunette by nature, you really should start with virgin hair and then have it highlighted for dimension or what have you, and not go with a bleach blonde base. If you're a blonde, a lot of times blondes are good starting as a bleach blonde base and adding in the rooting and dimension. But for me, the fashion colors and reds have my heart, and they always start as a blank blonde base. It's important to note that although incredibly comfortable and fits me like a glove, it is more poofy because of the extra return hairs, and texturizing the return hairs by an expert is a great way to have it flatter and not feel so poofy with all those extra return hairs. And last but not least, you want to make sure that you get those custom cuts, those face framing layers if you like it, whatever it is you're looking for, and that you learn how to perfectly style that hair. And then you've got a one-of-a-kind piece that people will wonder, man, where does she get her hair colored? I hope you found this video insightful and educational. That is always my goal, to bring you education, to bring you insightful things about hair that you may not have known. Don't forget to check out Essie Wigs if you want to get a custom wig from her or get any tweaks done to your current wigs. If you need custom color done, you need to contact DB Hair Therapy, and she takes mail-ins, so you can mail her your wig and she can customize it for you. If you are a supplier or wholesaler or salon looking for a super high quality wig to buy from a wholesaler, I strongly recommend New Times Hair. This is a great wig. As always, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit that bell, give me a thumbs up, and I will see you all at the next one.